celebrations of Ireland's progress in the European Championships. And we've highlights from last weekend's Old Firm match between Rangers and Celtic. Here now is George Hamilton.
Yes, it's been one of the best weeks of the season so far if you're a soccer fan. And let me begin by telling you about 3 programmes coming up in the next week on Network 2. Tomorrow night, the FAI Opel International Soccer Awards take place in the Burlington Hotel, and you can follow them live from 10:45. Next Wednesday, Ireland in Istanbul, exclusively live on RTE television. Where else? Our programme begins at 5:05, and then on Saturday, Sports Stadium has live English soccer again with the champions Arsenal visiting Oldham Athletic. Kick-off there is at 3 o'clock. Well, our first piece of action this week comes from the Bord Gáis League of Ireland, and what a championship it's turning out to be. Derry City, Shamrock Rovers, Shelbourne and Dundalk are separated by just 2 points, with the Premier Division 1/3 of its way through. Last weekend, Shelbourne played Cork City in Tolka Park in what was a repeat of their League Cup quarter-final. Then they managed 7 goals as Shells came out on top in extra time. Last Sunday's clash was no less exciting, with 6 goals shared in a magnificent match. Described for us now by Stephen Alkin.
The free kick from Neville. Nick Neville's header, and there's Gully with the chance, and Phil Harrington smartly down to stop that one. Shelbourne trying to keep pressure on at the top of the Premier Division. McCarthy winning that, and here's Mark Rutherford on loan from Birmingham City. Breaks for Dave Barry. And Jerry McCabe now with a chance to settle things down for Cork City. John Caulfield, placed by Mick Neville, and inside the challenges. And possibly the chance to shoot, and good defending there by Greg Costello to whip the ball away to Desi Gorman. Now here's Gary Howlett. Cross towards Dully, and it's coming from Mark Rutherford. Having the first shot in anger this afternoon. A rising shot from the English lad over on loan. Morley laying it off for Dave Barry. The chip behind the defence, and there's Morley to Caulfield, and it's across the line. It's 1-0. A remarkable goal. However, did Cork City get that one in? It seemed that Jody Byrne and Peter Coyle had it well covered, but between them they lost it through Coyle's legs. Caulfield with the second touch, and Cork City take the lead after 22 minutes. Free kick there for Shelbourne. Fouled by Declan Daly on Pádraig Dully, and Daly going into referee Wilf Wallace's notebook. Rutherford leaving it for Howlett towards the far post. Barry clearing. Falls to Kevin Brady. What a remarkable goal from Brady. The sides level. It seemed Harrington had it covered. Barry could only half clear it. And there was Brady with the half volley outside of the left foot and in off Harrington's hand. Cleared by Cork City. 7 minutes to the break. Here's Desi Gorman. And Harrington beaten again at this near post this time. It looked like he was waiting for the cross, and from the look on Desi Gorman's face there, that's what he intended. He had Pádraig Dully inside and whipped in the ball early, and Harrington, most unusual for him, caught at the near post. Cork City trying to get back before half-time. Dave Barry in there with Jody Byrne, and Byrne taking a knock. The free kick against Dave Barry for that challenge. In a game full of incidents so far. And here comes Shells with Mark Rutherford, and great running by Kevin Brady. Towards the head of Dully, unable to get that header on target. And there goes the half-time whistle. And it's Shelbourne who lead by 2-1. Gorman. Cleared by Howlett to Pádraig Dully. It's Declan Daly in close attendance for Cork City. And Bobby Brown taking over. Barry. And this is Declan Roach, a Dubliner signed by Cork City from Partick Thistle. And here's Jerry McCabe, another player who's arrived from Partick Thistle to help Cork City this season. Cross comes in, cleared by Shelbourne. Slack pass from Bobby Brown, though. And a chance for McCabe to get it in again. McNeville with the header this time. Roach. Forward and cleared by McNeville. Now here's Liam Murphy, past the challenge of Mark Rutherford. Bit of space opening up for Murphy. And a terrific shot, brilliantly saved by Jody Byrne. Excellent tip-over save, that one, as Cork City look for the equaliser. Still the pressure on Shelbourne. Roach. Cross towards Caulfield, and the header, really, that one with no power. And Jody Byrne able to settle it down. But here's that incident moments ago. Liam Murphy going on one of his rare forays upfield, and a terrific left foot shot, and Jody Byrne at his best. To goalkeeper Phil Harrington. Lots of movement in this game. Really great entertainment for the 2,500 people here. And here goes Mike Mellon. And what a great shot by Mellon! And Cork City have equalised. Their new signing, a player who joined them from Bristol. And here he goes on the run past Greg Costello. And a whipping shot past Jody Byrne to make it 2-2. And straight away, Shelbourne ringing the changes. Mark Rutherford goes off, and on comes Gary Haylock, an old favourite here at Talca Park. On loan once more from Huddersfield Town, hoping to get his name on the score sheet. Yes, Haylock scored a lot of goals for Shelbourne on his 2 visits here before. But here come Cork City again, and it's Dave Barry. Haylock over with him, the deflection off Haylock, and the corner kick to Cork City. McCabe with it. Jody Byrne flaps at it, and there's Morley to make it 3-2. And 2 goals in 3 minutes for Cork City. But Jody Byrne came for this one and he couldn't hold it. And there was Morley to rifle it into the roof of the net. And Cork City could be on their way to their 3rd win of the season. Barry. Lovely through ball finding Caulfield. Now Mellon's on the run in the centre and he finds him, and that's a great goal for Cork. But the whistle is gone, the whistle is gone. It's been disallowed. Offside given against Mike Mellon, and that's really unlucky for Cork City. It must have been a very, very close decision indeed. Caulfield seemed to have measured the pass perfectly, and there was Mellon, but obviously he was just in an offside position. So Shelbourne could be 4-2 down. What can they do? Can they get back into the game? Brown. And this is Costello. Jerry McCabe across to tackle, and Costello riding that tackle well. And there's Caulfield too, deep in his own half, trying to keep Shells at bay for this last 12 or 13 minutes. Caulfield still arguing with the referee about that incident moments ago when Cork City seemed to have scored a good goal. Here's Caulfield. And McNeville. Long ball looking for Gorman. And there's Haylock, shot blocked, and there's Dully. And it's 3-3. And you have to feel sorry for Cork City on a day when they've played so much good football. Pat Morley gets booked for further arguing, but it's Shelbourne who've equalised. Gorman's header, Haylock causing all sorts of problems. It fell kindly for Dully, and it looks like the points will be shared.
Yes, indeed. What great entertainment, and that was exactly how it finished. Shelbourne 3, Cork City 3. A marvellous advertisement for League of Ireland football, that game. For the 2nd time this season then, Shelbourne and Cork City producing not only outstanding value for money, but also the kind of goals normally associated with, perhaps, what you might call a higher stage. Anyway, all that was lacking in Talca Park was a bigger crowd to enjoy such a fine spectacle. Derry City still lead the Premier Division, with those old Dublin rivals Shelbourne and Shamrock Rovers just a point back. Last season's champions Dundalk on 15 points are still very much in contention. Tomorrow's fixtures are the reverse of last week, so Shells play Cork City for the third time this season. The Cork City fans at Turner's Cross will be hoping for goals aplenty. They've already had 13 in their 2 meetings so far. Dundalk are at home to Galway United, but the match of the day surely is in the RDS, where Shamrock Rovers will be hoping to take over at the top by beating Derry City. It's been several years since Longford Town led Division 1, but Con Flanagan's team have made an impressive start to their league campaign. The 3 Munster teams are in hot pursuit. Tomorrow's big match is in Rathban, where Longford play third-place Limerick City. Cove have the long trek to Finn Harps, while Waterford United will be hoping to keep up their momentum with a win over UCD. And so, to some more action. Again, it's from the League of Ireland this week. On Thursday, the semi-finals of the Bord Gáis League Cup were played. Dundalk against Bohemians in Oriel Park coming up. But first, we're off to the Brandywell, where Derry City played Shelbourne.
Derry City have been the specialist League Cup team in recent years, but it was Shelbourne who had the first chance. Gary Haylock recently re-signed from Huddersfield Town, just past Dermot O'Neill's post. It took 27 minutes for the deadlock to be broken. Brian Flood there with a handball. A trifle harsh, the ball skidding up off the wet Brandywell surface. But from the free kick, a bit of Derry magic. Hanrahan leaves it for Stuart Gold. The deflection, and Jody Byrne, no chance. 1-0 then to City. A big crowd in attendance. Gold's free kick, the deflection, and Jody Byrne going the wrong way, couldn't change direction. But Shelbourne gave as much as they got, although it was Derry City who nearly made it 2 just before half-time. Mooney's cross, McCarthy with the attempted interception, and the crossbar intervening. Shelbourne had their best chance in the second half. A little push there on Dully, and it was Costello's cross towards the head of Haylock, cleared off the line. It was a game of much movement and invention, despite the wet conditions. But Derry City will be happy to have made it into the League Cup final for yet another chance to lift the trophy. That chance for Shelbourne again. Costello's cross, Haylock's header, and it was Stuart Gold clearing it away. All very tight in the middle until Ricky McAvoy finds Terry Everston. Brian Irwin outside him, and Everston goes in the overlap. The cross looking for McNulty. The control is good, and he grazes the crossbar as the shot goes over. By far the best we've seen so far in this match. 22 minutes gone, and Dundalk should be 1 up. A lovely build-up involving Everston and Irwin. And then the cross to the far post, finding Tom McNulty. Beautiful first touch, but he just couldn't keep the shot down, and it remains 0-0. But away come Bohemians. Lee King past the challenge of Shelley. Alan Byrne to Pat Fenlon, the chance for the volley, and what a great goal for Bohemians. 23 minutes gone in the first half. It's Dundalk 0, Bohemians 1. Alan Byrne found Pat Fenlon, and the ball bounced kindly for him, but what a tremendous shot. And Alan O'Neill, for once, beaten by a long-range shot. Free kick for Bohemians, hammered in by Robbie Best off Terry Everston. Mark Burns cross to the far post, and up go the Bohemians' heads, and it might break for Lee King, and it's 2-0 to Bohemians. Just a minute to go to the break, and Dundalk's defence statuesque as that cross came in. Far post headers, and there was Lee King to drive it past Alan O'Neill, and there could be a shock on the cards here at Oriel Park. And Lee King, a precious strike for him. He scored a penalty earlier in the season, but that's his first goal from play, and what a time to get it. Douglas. Bohemians tried to kill some time and keep possession. That's a fine ball from Douglas to Alan Byrne, and it might break for Pat Fenlon, and a great save by Alan O'Neill. But one of the best chances of this second half falling to Bohemians, and it was Alan Byrne with the shot, and Pat Fenlon found himself in the clear, but O'Neill was out very sharply. And the clearance by Alan Byrne, striking his own player. to give Dundalk a corner in the dying moments of this match. Nick Shelley with the corner. Floated into the centre and off the heads and into the net. In fact, no, it's been disallowed. Disallowed by referee Ollie Cooney for a bit of pushing there. So Dundalk, the one moment they did get the ball into the net tonight, they find that the goal is disallowed. And here's why, a bit of pushing there in the 6-yard box. And meanwhile at the other end, it's Ian Douglas breaking away for Bohemians and playing inside to Joe Lawless. And his shot just past the far post. A splendid break by Bohemians.
A splendid week for the League of